Here I stand looking out the kitchen window, and my mind began to entertain an encounter I had a couple of days ago. You see, it shook me. At first, I hadn't realized it. I ran into someone from the past, which was fine, but the interaction, the conversation, it turned. It turned to me defending myself for something old, something that I thought I had healed from, something I believed no longer had power over me, but in that moment it did. Have you ever experienced that? When a situation or a person pulls you back into a version of yourself you worked so hard to leave behind. And that's exactly where I found myself. At first, I didn't even realize that it was happening. But soon my thoughts began to race, quietly at first, and then louder. And then the words that came out of my mouth began to match what was going on in my mind. Even though the story that was coming out of my mouth was not rooted in truth, but in past hurt. But before I knew it, my emotions had taken over and my body followed. My chest began to get heavy and my nervous system became deregulated, and I was caught in it, stuck in the vortex of old thinking patterns and old reactions. But as I walked away, I thought, what is happening to me now? What is past is past. But it took hours for me to come back to myself. But I've paused and I made a choice. I could stay in this space or I could return to my peace. I reminded myself, I am healed. I am not who I used to be. And I have grown past this. And then I reached for my tools. I slowed my breath. I breathed in deeply and exhaled fully. I intentionally began to relax my body and refocus my thoughts. And little by little, I let go of the negative mindsets. Now, I didn't jump back into, oh, it's all right. No, it took a moment. And to be truthful, it was days because I began to ruminate on what I should have said and what I could have said and what I shouldn't have said. But slowly, I began to feel calm again. But in the process, I learned something powerful. Healing doesn't mean you never get triggered again. It doesn't mean that you never think about the past and have some emotional feelings, hurt, anger. But now I have the choice. And I learned peace is not something you find. Peace is what you become and is worth protecting. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves access to my emotions. And not every trigger deserves my reaction. Protecting my peace looks like stepping back. Sometimes it looks like silence. And it also looks like choosing not to engage, even when every part of me wants to. So looking out, Today, I am reminded I come too far to let anything or anyone pull me out of the peace that I fought to create. So I tell you, peace is too important to allow anyone. So today, pay attention to your triggers. Pay attention and honor your healing journey. There was a cost for it that you paid. And most of all, protect your peace because it's valuable. Me and you, looking out, but looking in.